Hi guys, this is Simon with Trade and Perform Coaching doing the trade review for November 19th, 2013. Quick disclaimer, this is for educational purposes only. So one of the things that I want to talk about today, I want to spend briefly talking about what we were looking for in the market and what we got. It was obviously a pretty sideways market today, but I want to look at the opportunities, and then I want to talk about a couple of the things that can cause traders to do poorly, or actually I want to focus on one in particular, and that's stress and the effects that it can have on your trading and your trading plan. So first of all, let's look at the trade plan for today. So those of you who want to drop off afterwards can do so. So the trade plan was quite simple. We had called for, let me see if I can, hold on one second, I'm going to pull up the Twitter stream here real quick. So this is the tweets that I sent out this morning. As you can see, earlier this morning, I sent out the trade plan. And in the meantime, I wanted to go through and kind of describe what was going on. So around 8:08, I sent out, I'd expect to have a balanced day today, meaning the best trades will be from the outside in, right? And with a slight edge to the long side, it's important to note that I want at least a 6-point rotation to increase the odds of the trade. And that was a minimum, right? And then I also defined, I go, that means that if the 6-point rotation would put us a point below the back of the zone, in that particular case, I'd want to execute at the very back of the zone. It's important. I want to execute in my zones. Executing outside of the zones is never a good idea, right? And the rotation size is a rule of thumb. It's not a rule, right? I don't go, oh, we're down 11, I'm taking a long, or we're up 5, I'm taking a short. The zones have the priority and are not the trade plan itself, right? And then the last piece that I wanted really my clients to get a sense of importance was that I felt that yesterday's selling in the afternoon was news driven and not event driven, meaning Carl Icahn just simply had stated an opinion and had stated a position that he had, which was maybe he was talking his book, right? He said, I am along a significant number of puts on the S&P. For all we know, into that sweep down, he covered it. Look, Carl Icahn's a smart guy, right? And if Carl Icahn said, well, I'm looking to put on a trade, that would have been different. He already said, I'm long a bunch of puts. For all I know, that panic selling yesterday, he covered every single contract he had, booked himself a couple $1 million, and went and had a margarita last night. We don't know, right? But we do know this. He's a billionaire and we're not. And generally, billionaires have risk tolerance and can lose much more dollars than small traders can, right? Small traders, I define as anyone less than $2 million in the market is a small trader, okay? So our edge is that we can be very flexible and we know exactly what we're looking for, right? How are we eliminating all the randomness in the market? How are we eliminating the unknowns? How are we leveling the playing field to our edge, right? Well, how we're doing that is we're being very specific on where we're entering our trades, number one. Number two, we're being very specific about our stops. Number three, we're certain that we have an edge. We're not guessing that we have an edge. We know we have an edge. And then we use a filter in addition to our edge to give us a higher probability of a winning trade. Okay, the filter is the rotation size, which varies from day to day and week to week. And then the last piece of that, right, is that we're giving ourselves an edge by knowing where we're exiting our trades. Why is that an edge? Because it eliminates another portion of uncertainty. Trading is filled with uncertainty, and it raises anxiety and it raises stress levels. And stress levels make it hard to make good trading decisions, any good decisions actually. Stress causes you to take trades that were unplanned, right? It increases anxiousness, causes you to sleep worse, right? And as these losses keep building and building, right, it just gets worse and worse until the next thing you know, you're just chasing your own tail. You're taking trades where you never planned to take them. You're letting trades go from profitable to unprofitable on you because you're trying to get big swings, right, and hit the fences. And all you need, if you've ever seen that movie Moneyball, we need a base hit. That's all we care about, right? So let's first talk about the open. I had some trading issues out of the gate, and I could not trade this because I couldn't get my computer booted up. I am in a deep, passionate hate affair with Microsoft right now. That being said, this rotation, right? Beautiful rotation down. The back of the zone gave great trade location. The entire zone itself is an edge. Okay, gave great location, trade location at the back. You easily got your 2 points. Now, depending on how far you've gone with me, right? You may only be trading one contract. You've got your 2 points and you're done for the day, right? Or even 2 contracts and you're done for the day. Now, once we've developed the trade plan and tailored it more closely to what you want to achieve, right? And combine that with what the market's willing to give to you, you might have left a trailer and you had the potential for a 9-point trade in here, right? It was just huge, okay? All while keeping you very safe with a 2-point stop behind the back of the zone. That's what most people use, most traders that I coach, that's what they use. And I'm trading this same trade plan. It's not like I have a separate secret trade plan that I'm not sharing. This is the framework for the majority of the decisions that I make through the course of the day, okay? So entering here gave you a beautiful rotation. I didn't get this trade and lamented it to a certain degree. And your computers don't work. Your computers don't work. There's not much you can do. So, but I did log in this morning, and I think I shared just a little too much information to put that out over YouTube, so I'm not going to. But I did mention right as we got in here, it's funny, I had a client ask me, he goes, well, what does it mean if it pauses right before? Should I take the trade outside of the zone? Does it have any meaning? I said, no, just wait till it pushes up into the zone. The zone is where it gives us our edge, right? And this is a beautiful rotation. It told us the front of the zone was a good area to take on risk. You still needed to stop 2 points behind, right? And one key to our understanding of making money and reducing stress, right, is we accept the premise that we don't know. There's no way to know that the market's not going to explode one way or the other. I just don't know when news is going to come out, right? And trying to walk around as if you do know that and make yourself feel better is just a delusion that is going to increase stress levels because we don't actually know what the rotation size are. All we have is odds. It's an odds game, and it's going to work in our favor or out of our favor, one of the two. And all we can do is say, this is how much I can control. However, I do know that over the course of 10 trades, I'm going to win on somewhere between 7 to 9 out of those trades. Usually it's going to be 7 or 8 out of every 10, but somewhere in that range, I'm going to have, sometimes I go for 20 or 30 trades in a row that are profitable, but usually it's going to be somewhere between 7 and 10 trade out of every 10 trades, 8 out of every 10 trades are going to be profitable. And so I don't have to know which one doesn't have to work, isn't going to work. I just have to know that I'm going to take care of myself well enough to take each trade as it comes along. Okay, so this trade gave you a beautiful rotation to the downside. You easily achieved 2 points, 4 points, and eventually, if you held long enough, you left a trailer with a stop right where you entered, right? You eventually had 12 points to the downside, right? So that's how a disciplined trader looked. Again, 2 trades, 2 points apiece, 4 points a day. Do the math, right? Do the math and increase your trading size as you're moving along. And look at how much money that would generate in a trading account in a very, very short period of time. It's a lot of money, and it's a relatively low stress way of doing it. Okay, and you're working against prior profits in your trading account. You're not constantly at risk. So now let's look at a poor way of trading. Okay, one of the things about trading the S&P is that people want confirmation. Confirmation is damn expensive in any market. Okay, I want to take the trade where it is scariest, right? Why? Because I have the least amount of risk there. Where everyone else is scared and I'm brave, I have the least amount of fear. Okay, number one. Number two, the trade location gives me an edge, right? So what someone will do once they get under stress, right, is usually it starts in a very minor way. They make a mistake that either pays them very nicely or it hands them a loss. And it starts very slowly as a method of maybe even berating yourself, being angry at yourself, or you missed your trade entirely and you get mad at yourself. Okay, so one of the things if you're coached by me is we say we never, ever, ever miss a trade. I have never missed a trade. If you coulda, if you shoulda, you woulda. Okay, that's what I say. But if you didn't know to take it, if you didn't see what you needed to see, then you could have never taken it and that trade never belonged to you to begin with. Okay, and all you do when you put yourself in that thing, like when we were kids, right, and you missed that ball, you said, next time I'm going to get it, right, and we could try harder, next time, you can't try harder in trading. The harder you try in trading, the more money you lose. You simply have to let the market come to you. That's it. And if you can let the market come to you on a decent sized rotation, you usually can take a counter trade, okay, on most days that'll pay you nicely. Even in this crazy market that we've been in where it's been going straight up, there have been great trading opportunities, and a minimum of, I would say, 2 to 4 points is available almost every single day, okay? So this is how a poor trader did it. They're either going to do one of two things. They're going to take the profit very quickly because they're fearful, or they're going to have their stop too tight, and they're going to get tagged out. So for the trader that's fearful and takes his profit quickly, he turns around and goes, oh, I knew I should have taken the trade. I knew I should have held that trade. I knew. Well, how did you know? Who knows? It doesn't matter. Your brain's just going to accept what you tell it anyways, and what you told it was, I knew I shoulda. Okay, so when you knew you shoulda and you didn't, your brain's going to punish you for that. That creates stress. If you had too tight a stop right here because it went a little bit behind you, the proper stop is about 2 points behind the back of the zone. Okay, in the zones, the primary concentration is on the first touch. Second and third touches work sometimes. They do. Okay, they work a lot of times. I'll take a lot of second touches. But my focus for getting traders on track and building a profitable account is on the first time, and it's all you need. Okay, you don't have to wait for confirmation. Right. The other thing that really affects traders, right? So this trader who took a small stop said, well, I'm going to take it here, but if it goes beyond the back of the zone, I'm going to stop out. Well, how agitated do you think that trader was? By the time this thing rotated 9 points up, that's $450 per contract that they had on. Let me tell you, I think that they are very agitated individuals. That's what I believe. So that leads to mistakes. So what do they say the next time? They say, I'm not going to miss it. They may even be anxious to get it back, right? They'll go, I'm going to get this trade back, and end up taking a trade that's off plan, right? Next time they go, well, I don't want the same thing to happen to me here. I'm going to wait for it to come to the back of the zone, and this time when it gets to the back of the zone, I'll have my proper 2-point stop, right? And they're not paying attention to how much the market is stretched already coming into the zone, okay, which would have told you the front of the zone was the proper place to take the trade. So this time our client goes, oh, I missed it. He's going to have a knee-jerk reaction. He probably didn't even want to do this, and he takes the short here, right? And that's great, right? The trade rotates down, but imagine what he's thinking in his head. We're down. We really didn't get up that much. We rejected below the white zone. Sellers are in control. He's thinking, I bet we're going to break the low of the day, okay? And then what does he know? Before he knows it, this thing's rotated all the way back up, and he's either taking a small loss, depending on where he entered the trade, or a break-even trade, and he's pissed at himself. On top of that, he had a ton of anxiety because his stop is all the way back here, and he's berating himself again. And all of this leads to more and more anxiousness as you try to catch up for what you, quote, missed, right? And instead of slowing down, taking a step backwards and going, what does my trade plan call for me to do? Having that trade plan in writing, committing yourself to following that trade plan, right? You keep doing more and more emotional swings, which lead you to take worse and worse trades. Not only do you take worse and worse trades, but at the worst possible time. You even if you try to follow the trade plan, once you get yourself so backwards, even that backfires and you can't. You end up with trading scared money. You have errors in executing your own trading plan. You get lost in a cycle of chasing the market over and over trading, where even if you get break even, you end up with a ton of commissions. And this has happened to so many, this happens to the majority of traders, okay? If none of this applies to you, you're a brilliant trader and keep doing exactly what you're doing. But this applies to most retail traders at some point. They have to go through this, and they have to get through this process so they can become good traders. And it is possible to do. Is it easy? No, it takes some work, right? And if you want some help with that, both Brett Steenbarger and Mark Douglas have excellent books on there. I follow Mark Douglas's books for helping a trader get corrected immediately. And these are the 3 things that I can suggest. First of all, if your trading's out of control, stop trading and get some help. Secondly, if you can, hire a coach to work with you one-on-one. And number 3, stop trading until you have a trade plan you know works and that you have the ability to execute. Those are my recommendations, guys.